This is Michael Manjos, Chairman, Board of Finance. Good evening, 6 o'clock, May 19th. This is the Board of Finance Budget Workshop. I'm going to call out all the participants on the board. Please acknowledge you can hear me. John Ostrzewski.
Here.
Steve Kirsch.
Here.
Greg Hirsch.
Here.
Jane Krishavny.
Here.
Rebecca O'Donnell.
Here.
Perfect. We also have First Selectman Ken Kellogg.
I'm here.
Finance Director Ron Manovsky. Deputy Director of Finance Heidi Mead.
Here.
Perfect. All right. Oops, somebody's echoing in there. If we could mute. Thank you. I hereby declare we have a quorum and call this meeting to order. A copy of the agenda and any related materials have been posted and can be found on the top of this website, www.monroect.org, for inspection. This public meeting is being conducted remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B, dated March 14th, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conferencing technology. Using this technology, the public shall participate in real time in this meeting via tablet, smartphone, telephone, using the access information set forth in the meeting agenda. Please be advised that each meeting has unique participation information, so please be sure you have access to the correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access to this meeting using technology is granted solely by the technology provider on a first access basis and is not controlled by the town of Monroe. While it's anticipated we will not exceed this participation limit for this meeting, should it appear we are approaching said limit so that any member of the public is denied access to this meeting, I, as chairman, reserve the right to adjourn and continue the meeting at a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public may participate. Please take note of the following regarding this remote electronic public meeting. The meeting is being conducted in real time. This meeting is open to the public, that any members of the public may listen or view to this meeting anonymously. This meeting is being recorded. While we ask you mute your microphones unless recognized to speak, that anything you say, do, or display on your screen becomes part of the recording. The recording shall be posted at the town website within 7 days. That the recording shall be made available to public within a reasonable time. This meeting shall follow standard parliamentary procedure. However, I ask that participants follow the special rules. In addition, please mute your microphone so as to reduce background noise at any time you are not speaking. Prior to speaking on any occasion, each speaker shall clearly state that their name and title for the record. The use of the chat feature is prohibited and will not be considered during this meeting. All right. Review of the meeting minutes and voting record, May 7th. Somebody make a motion for me.
Sure. John Ostrzewski, Vice Chair. Motion to accept minutes as presented.
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance, second.
Terrific. Any discussion? Hearing none. John?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And myself is an aye. Perfect. Okay, so we are now at the final resolution stages. We do have a resolution that's in the packet. I think everybody got a chance to take a look at. And I am going to read the resolution. We're not going to go through our traditional read each line and vote on each line. I'll read the resolution in, and then somebody can make a motion to approve it, and we can go through the process that way. That's good with everybody. So my long-winded readings, hang on. Okay, resolution for the proposed adopted annual budget. Whereas on March 10th, 2020, the Lamont Governor, State of Connecticut, declared a public health and civil preparedness emergency in response to the pandemic. And whereas the governor had issued a series of executive orders which collectively govern the municipal government during state declaration, including the town of Monroe. And whereas on March 15th, the governor issued Executive Order 7C, paragraph 5, of which extended by 30 days all budget deadlines for preparation of the municipal budget for the year 2020-2021. that fall on any date prior to and including May 15th, and further permits the legislative body, town council, to alter or modify the schedules and deadlines pertaining to the preparation and submission of a proposed budget and the deliberation or actions on said budget by the town council or the fiscal authority, including any public hearings, publication, referendum, or final budget adoption. Whereas Executive Order 7C extends all the remaining and outstanding budget submission dates as set forth in Chapter 8 of the Town Charter as amended by the Town Council pursuant to Public Act 1827-191B of the Connecticut General Statutes on January 14, 2019 for a period of 30 days for such sooner dates as the approved by the Town Council. And whereas pursuant to the government's executive orders, the Town of Monroe adopted Resolution 20-43, which provided in part that the Board of Finance Board shall hold at least one remote electronic public meeting at which the electors and taxpayers of the town shall have the opportunity to be heard regarding the annual budget as proposed by the Town Council, whereas the board shall prepare its proposed annual budget no later than May 20th. And whereas the board conducted electronic public meetings on April 23rd and May 14th, which the electors and the taxpayers of the town had the opportunity to be heard and did provide input in real time and prior thereto in writing, which such written was incorporated into the record thereof. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby prepares and delivers its proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 as follows. General fund and other financing sources totaling $90,043,475, and more specifically, totally operating revenue in the amount of $81,543,475, consisting of general fund revenue budget for property taxes in the amount of $73,852,630. Licenses and permits in the amount of $553,792. Intergovernmental revenue in the amount of $5,777,753. Charges for services in the amount of $1,063,800. Interest and dividends in the amount of $220,500. And other revenue in the amount of $75,000. And two other financing sources in the amount of $8,500,000. General fund operating expenditures totaling $90,043,475, and more specifically for the following departments and appropriations. First Selectman in the amount of $190,692. Town Attorney in the amount of $225,500. Town Council in the amount of $5,300. Board of Finance in the amount of $762,935. Register of Voters in the amount of $128,750. Town Clerk in the amount of $171,601. Town Tax Collector in the amount of $190,053. Treasurer in the amount of $11,056. Boards and Commissions in the amount of $10,400. Senior Center in the amount of $276,263. EDC in the amount of $11,800. HR in the amount of $5,094,901. Finance in the amount of $338,628. Information Technology in the amount of $600,109. Assessor in the amount of $246,609. Engineering in the amount of $218,716. Inland and Wetlands in the amount of $87,467. Building in the amount of $170,621. Planning and Zoning in the amount of $289,120. Town Hall Maintenance in the amount of $436,538. Chalk Hill Building in the amount of $6,129. Special Programs in the amount of $148,047. Regional Programs in the amount of $50,849. Police in the amount of $5,940,119. Monroe Fire Department in the amount of $269,045. Stevenson Fire Department in the amount of $194,712. Stepney Fire Department in the amount of $268,448. Fire Hydrant Services in the amount of $665,000. Fire Marshal in the amount of $110,554. Emergency Management in the amount of $17,250. Emergency Medical Services in the amount of $898,842. Public Works in the amount of $3,227,384. Sanitation in the amount of $465,740. Health Department in the amount of $241,658. Social Services in the amount of $89,199. Library in the amount of $857,882. Parks and Rec in the amount of $906,472. Board of Ed in the amount of $58,501,943. Debt service in the amount of $5,859,043. Special projects in the amount of $2,000. And other appropriations in the amount of $1,796,500. Capital budget in the amount of $13,810,405 as detailed in the full capital budget and 5-year capital improvement plan as revised. Be it further resolved that the board hereby certifies that a complete and final proposed annual budget for the fiscal year 2021 be prepared in accordance with this resolution, that a complete copy be published on the town's website forthwith, and the summary of the proposed annual budget be published in a newspaper having general circulation in the town no later than May 27th, 2020. Both of such publications shall include instructions to allow the public to submit comments on the proposed annual budget. All righty.
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance. I move to adopt the resolution as read.
This is Craig Hirsch,
Thank you,
second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none. John?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Dane?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Terrific. Thank you, guys. I do want to just make a couple comments for the record just before we wrap up. First of all, and most importantly, I really want to thank this board. This was not an easy year. This is not a perfect solution. This is not everything we were planning on doing, but at the end of the day, everybody worked damn hard to get this to this point. Super compliments to Ken, who's grinded through this with us all the time and has been super involved, pushing me, pushing Ron, pushing everybody to make sure this gets done in a reasonable fashion. A special call out to Ron and Heidi, again, 7 days a week, all the time, all hours, my calls, everybody's calls, Ken's calls. So a huge call out to the hard work that went into this and the people. I mean, I think we also want to make it clear, while this will set the mill rate in the first couple of days of June, we'll get that on the schedule. And the way it's looking, the mill rate will actually drop a little bit. So it will be a slight decrease in the mill rate, which is great. But again, I don't want anybody to think this is the end of this. I want it to be clear for the record that we are facing a dramatic increase in taxes next year with this budget because we took some one-time fixes. And we did that because I think we are facing disruption that the town has never seen or was ever anticipated. A health pandemic and an economic pandemic never imagined. I don't think any of us thought we'd be facing a 15% unemployment in town. And not even knowing if we can provide certain services, the library, the pool, how the schools will safely open. All of these things are still up in the air. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take teamwork and everybody working together to make sure these things get back together in a very safe and organized fashion. And I think we've got a great team working on that. But we also have to remember that we are spending 10 years worth of savings. I mean, I've been on this board 10 years, and we've built up this fund balance methodically and slowly over 10 years, and we are going to use it or proposing using it in one shot. We are delaying capital projects, and I think that's the right decision. We are also asking, and I want this to be clear, we are asking town employees, all town employees, to take a zero increase. This is a difficult ask. It's not something I take. But I think based on the situation and anybody who's looking at the numbers and the investment revenue we're looking at and the sales tax and the permits and just the finances of the town in general has to realize that we are going to face diminished revenues. There's just no other way to look at this. And I don't believe everything we've done here is perfect. I know we've made some choices that are hard. I know the Board of Ed is going to have some difficult choices to make if this doesn't go through the way we hoped. We did still leave the Board of Ed with an increase. I know it's not enough. I know it's not what they need for everything they need. We get that. None of us are going to know what they're going to need for a while. So we have said it before. I'll say it on the record. You know, I believe we're going to have to come back in 4 to 6 months and really review what we've done and maybe make some adjustments, and that's fine. And we're prepared to do that. I don't think anybody's got to think that we're not aware of the challenges. But I think also it's important that we all go to this together. I think, you know, while the name calling and finger pointing can be entertaining that goes on in town, right now I really don't think it's helpful. I really think it's time that people realize that 6, what I consider very smart people and a whole bunch of staff worked really hard to get to this point. And we know we don't have all the answers, but we made a good whack at it, and we're going to continue to go forward. Working with the Board of Ed, the town, the first selectman, and to make sure Monroe gets back on its feet. I think everybody in this country right now is making sacrifices. None of them are easy, but it's nice to see people banding together and trying to come up with solutions and not just pointing fingers and, you know, saying people are bad people. Nobody's a bad person on this board. I don't like seeing those things about anybody. I could care less about myself, but I know what we did here and I know how hard we've worked. And I just want everybody to know how appreciative I am of everybody's time and effort and creative ideas to come up with what I think is a good plan. And it's a plan that will prepare us for the future. And yes, next year will be just as difficult because of some of the things and the choices we've made. But hopefully, if we bounce back faster, then we will be in a stronger financial position. And down the road, we can correct some of the things we had to make adjustments on. So I think that's pretty much covers all my things I wanted to touch on. If anybody else want to say anything, it's open floor, please. I think it's been great that we took the town input twice and that everybody has spoken and brought up issues that they're concerned about. And I think we all agree that there are more issues to deal with. So hopefully down the road, we will deal with them. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, John Ostrowski, Vice Chair. So I just want to echo what Mike said. I want to say thank you for all the hard work and all the time people put into this. It's been a long haul. It's been a difficult one. No one meeting in person, doing things by email, by video, by text, by whatever. It's very unique. I want to thank the people in the town who actually went over and above with their comments and input. This is the most we've received in however many years I've been on the board. It was very nice to see people take interest, get involved, and show their opinion, because that's what helps us put the budget together, is based on all the opinions that we get, and we try to make the best of what we get from everybody. So I want to thank the town for you know, taking their time out to do all that. Again, in a difficult situation where they can't just walk down the hall of town hall and knock on the door and say, hey, this is what I think. So that was very much appreciated. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with the same team. We've got a good team on the board for next year, which is going to be equally difficult, but for a different reason. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance. I'd like to echo Mike and John's comments. I also like to thank the staff, and I'd also like to thank Joe and the whole team over at the Board of Ed. We asked them a lot of questions. They gave us the answers. They turned it around really quick, provided, you know, the details we were looking for. I know this is not the budget that they were looking for. It's not what I wanted to do. I've made that clear multiple times, and I'll continue to say it. And I think going forward, we do have a lot of challenges. Looking at next year, how we restore things, how we get back on track. This body has also talked about looking at 3-year plans that we'll begin to look at as part of our normal operations. And I think given where we are, that's something we can't start soon enough, because I think there's just going to be a lot of work even though we don't have all the answers now, but we're going to need to start and begin looking at how we rebuild, especially on the education side. Yeah, I know that during their deliberations on their budget, one of the board members said it's going to take a few years to rebuild their system, given the $500,000 cut that they approved way back in January, and now obviously we've gone, well beyond that. My last comment is obviously the concern about what it's going to take to reopen the schools, as well as the other town services, the pool, the library, and what expenses and what we may have to go through, and what kind of adjustments we're going to have to deal with over the next couple of months. So I think even though we're putting a budget in front of the citizens or informing them, there's obviously a lot more work for us to do. So again, thanks to everybody, as well as all the other board members. This has obviously been the first time I've gone through this as an elected official. I've been an observer for
You've been
many
hanging
years.
around for a lot of years, though.
Hanging out for lots and lots of years, understand, but never seen anything like this at all. So thank you again.
Sure. Anybody else? All right. Somebody want to make the motion?
Steve Kirsch, Board of Finance, motion to adjourn.
Craig Hirsch, second.
Great. Thank you, guys. And again, we'll send out the invite for it, but I think we're looking at coming together on June 2nd. Ron, that was the date we were looking at?
I believe that's correct, Mike. Tuesday, June 2nd.
Vote on the mill rate. So,
Yeah.
So Mike, do we have a meeting on Thursday?
nope,
No, we have nothing else then.
we have nothing else till June 2nd.
Okay.
Terrific. All right, guys. Appreciate it all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
very
a
much,
good night.
everybody.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Take care.